Hey, what's up guys? Narwhall here, back again with a new video, and today we're going to be starting our career mode for FIFA 17. We're going to be choosing Leicester City. If we scroll in, um, after Leicester sacked Ranieri, there's a vacancy in that position, so decided to see if we could do better than what they're doing this season. Currently, they are 17th or 18th in the Premier League as I'm recording this, and they just recently sacked Ranieri after the 2-1 loss to Sevilla in the Champions League. Honestly, I don't think he deserved to go. I think that after winning the Champions League 9 months later, after not the Champions League, after winning the Premier League 9 months later, they sacked him due to his players just thinking too highly of themselves. They just completely gave up on football and started focusing on their modern contracts that they got, their sponsorships deals and all that. What happened to Robert Huth and Wes Morgan, no one knows. If anyone's seen Riyad Mahrez, please call now so that you can bring him back to Leicester so he could start performing. Slimani started off great at the start of the season. He has not done anything since. As you can see, we will be doing a Champions League as well. In the group we have Sevilla, Lyon, and the other team. We're going to be playing on World Class in pounds, using the British pound, downloading the latest squads as you can see. And all the sliders will be off. I won't be using anything. Everything that happens in the game will be legitimate. I'm not going to tamper with anything. We're going to pick the middle one, the middle friendly tournament, because it offers the most money. I find that Leicester, despite giving a fair amount of money to spend, it's still nothing compared to the big boys, and there is some improvement needed in the squad. Their defense is aging. They don't have a bunch of young talents, and that's one thing I aim to do with the season, to get a strong English core, young players, bring them up through the ranks within 2 seasons, and really try to have a squad of youngsters. Replace Jamie Vardy, who is getting up there in age. Wes Morgan and Robert Huth both have to be replaced this season. At least one of them has to be replaced. We're going to look at some attacking options, some midfield options if we have enough money, but that's not really the priority. We'll be looking at some defensive options, such as some Italian defenders from Serie A, because the Italians are, in my opinion, the best defenders in the world. As you can see in the manager task that we have to do, there's not much difficult tasks here. They're not expecting too much of us. They just want us to hopefully get in the Europa League minimum and to reach the knockout stage of the Champions League. All very doable stuff. They want us to increase the value of the club, which is just stay in the Premier League, and we should be able to do that fine. But yeah, in terms of how the Premier League's doing this season, Chelsea have just run away with it completely. They aren't going to be catched. They've been like that since Conte switched to a 3 at the back formation. Victor Moses is outperforming everyone's wildest dreams about him. And Chelsea are just going to run away with it. It's just going to be a battle for the top 4. I think Tottenham, they've been performing extremely well, and Harry Kane's on fire at the moment. He has 3 hat-tricks in the last 9 games, I do believe. He's just on fire. He's probably the best striker in the Premier League alongside Diego Costa at this moment. Another team that could finish top 4 will be Arsenal, I do believe. They always manage to grind that out. Their 4th place position is home to them. If they don't finish top 4, then I think Wenger's head will be on a stick outside of the Emirates Stadium at the end of the season, because there's no way they're coming back in the Champions League after the 5-1 defeat to Bayern Munich. That's just not happening. There's the FA Cup. They could still win it, but I don't think that'll be enough to save his job. Or at least I don't think it should be enough to save his job. And the Premier League, if they don't finish top 4, then I don't see him keeping his job. Teams to miss out on the top 4, I think it's a tough one, because Tottenham and Arsenal, I do believe, will finish top 4. And then it's between the two Manchester clubs and Liverpool. Liverpool, if they don't make top 4, it wouldn't be the end of the world. It would be an improvement on last season. But because they started the season so strong, and the drop-off that they had at the start of the new year, it'll be difficult for them. They're still trying to find their feet. They haven't been performing too well, but they've definitely performed better with Sadio Mane coming back from the African Cup of Nations. Then you have Manchester City and Manchester United. If both of those teams don't finish top 4, it's criminal. But at least Jose Mourinho is winning trophies, and and has made massive improvements to the squad and the way that the team's playing. Pep Guardiola is going forward. His team's fine. It's just defensively. I don't. Otamendi has not performed since he's come to the Premier League. He's always out of position, making massive mistakes. John Stones, he will be a good defender in the future. Right now, he's not looking good whatsoever. He's just falling off, making mistakes after mistakes after mistakes, highlighted in the Champions League against Monaco. And then the fullbacks, they're aging. Zabaleta is 32 or 33, I do believe, and Galaklishi is also up there in age, 31, 32. Kolarov is he's not young either. So aging defense, other than John Stones. Their goalkeeper situation is horrible. They sent Joe Hart on loan, and ever since that happened, it's just been biting them in the ass. So back to the game. I'm looking at the City A for defenders. Like I said, the Italians do produce the best defensive players, in my opinion. I'm going to be looking at two players. I'm going to be looking at Romagnoli and Daniele Rugani. My goal for the season is, or for the series anyways, is to have a young core of players. I want to have a bunch of youngsters in the team so that I can develop them and improve them. As you saw before, one of the prerequisites, I guess you could say, of the season is to sell on youngsters for a profit. So I guess Leicester are a selling club in this game. Hopefully, I can keep a hold of these two players for a while. They gave us a fair amount of money to spend, so I should be able to get one, if not both of them, if I manage to sell a few players. I'm also going to be looking at just like Gay to try to have him in the midfield. He's been performing brilliantly this season. But unfortunately, as you'll see in a second, he just recently joined from Aston Villa, so he is unavailable for transfer. So there's no point in me going in for him, so I'm not going to be touching the midfield. I'll just keep the midfield as is for this season. And I'll look at replacing the defensive options because the defense it's not a strong defense. I looked at both El Neni and Coquelin, but Arsenal came back to me later and they weren't interested in selling both of them. They asked for too much money for Coquelin, and El Neni just recently joined, so he's not for sale. But yeah, so we're going to be simming every single one of these games in the opening, in the preseason. I find them, preseason games to be pointless. They're just there to get money and to use for transfers. So we're just going to be keeping them or simming them, I should say, for the start of the season. And this episode is going to be just the transfers. Let's just show you guys my train of thought, what negotiations I'm doing. This will cover the first month from July to August. We'll get a nice little squad report, scout report from our scouts that we sent out, showing the players that we could bring in. And one thing that you might notice, there is no sound in this video, like no game sound. The audio track glitched out and didn't record for some reason. For the next episode, I will make sure that that's back. But yeah, this is just, if you want, you could just fast forward to the purchases that I made. It's just really just to show the players that we brought in. As you can see, we beat Sporting 2-1. And it's just to show you guys the players that we're bringing in so that when the next episode comes out with sound, it's not just going to be a surprise of, oh, where did he get this guy from? Where did he get this guy from? And it will actually show steps and to the negotiations I did, the scouting that I did. I had a general idea of the players that I wanted to get, but definitely in the future for January window, if I'll be reading the comments section, and any players that you guys recommend, I'll definitely take a look at them. For the Premier League, not really for the Spanish League. For the Spanish League, it's a bit different when I do the Real Madrid career modes. But for the Premier League, I like to have strong midfielders. And midfielders that are generally box-to-box. They have good passing, they have good shooting. As you can see, we lost 2-1 to Wolfsburg in that game. And yeah, just like good shooting, good all-around stats. All around, especially in a 4-2 and a 4-4-2. That formation, you need a good midfielders to play that formation. And midfielders with good cardio. So, definitely in the January transfer window, if we get some more funds available, or if, I don't know, some players just become unsettled for some reason, then I will definitely look to buy some midfield reinforcement, but for now I think it's fine. We get an offer for Leonardo Ulloa, and I'm perfectly happy letting him leave. He's had problems with with Ranieri and Leicester this season, he hasn't been happy. He hasn't been playing much, so I'm perfectly happy sending him out, selling him to Granada. I put a counter offer for 5 million. I don't think they'll come back for 5 million, but here's to hoping. I'm also going to look at a West Ham player because, as you saw in the email earlier, Christian Fuchs got injured for 8 weeks, so I'm going to need some replacement. And that position at Leicester doesn't have much depth, so I'm going to take a look at Aaron Creswell. And I do know that he's quite cheap in this game, so I'm confident I could get him for 4 million, 6 million pounds. So moving on, we have another friendly coming up. Before that, we got an offer for £0 for Vasilevsky, and I'm perfectly happy accepting that. I saw the amount of the money and wages I saved, so I was perfectly happy selling him out. And I tried getting Rugani to be an important first team player, but he wasn't interested in that, so he wanted a crucial first team role. We're going to send this game against Galatasaray. Looking for a left back in the club. As you see, there's not much depth in that position. Same thing with the right back. If we have any money left over, I'll look to try to get a right back. If not on a permanent deal, perhaps on a loan deal. A player maybe like Debuchy from Arsenal. He's not playing much, and I know in this game they don't play much either. If not, then maybe Jenkinson, players like that. Yedlin from Newcastle. Just players like that. We'll sim the game against Galatasaray, and hey, Maris came back in this game. He's still able to score, as you can tell. Nice little brace from Maris sends us through to the next round. We get financial bonus from passing the group stage, and we're just dealing with the contracts. See, now the choice is between Romagnoli and Rugani. Right now, Rugani is the better player. He is 1 overall higher, and the only difference, or the main difference, is that Rugani is more expensive and demands more wages, and Romagnoli is just cheaper. Now, I don't know anything about potential in this game. I haven't done research on the player's potential, but I know that both of the two players, the two Italians, in real life anyways, you see massive potential in them when they play. They are very organized, as you expect the Italian center-backs to be. Rugani is now getting game time at Juventus over Barzagli, Bonucci, Chiellini when they're not playing. And he's slotting right in there. He's 21 years of age, and he's just fitting in amongst the greats of the center-backs. So, trying again with the crucial first-team player, but Rugani, he is, I guess, my #1 transfer target. I do want him in the club. In terms of the players to purchase, I like the goalkeeping option. The backup goalkeeper in Zieler is also very strong, and I'll be using him for the cups mostly. So I don't have any problems with that. We're going to be, we won against Monaco 1-0, so that advances us. West Ham didn't accept our offer of 4 million, so we're going to have to go in with another offer of 6 million. Hopefully they'll accept that one. And I'm just going to delete the emails. I'm a very bad habit of just letting them sit there, so I'm going to try my best to just delete them as often as I can. In terms of the channel, and what to expect from the channel, seeing as this is my first video of the channel, you can expect videos of career mode. I'm going to try to pump them out as much as I can, and expect them around midday, around 6, 7-ish. Depending on how long it takes to render and how long it takes to process the upload onto YouTube. And I'm also going to think of starting a FIFA Ultimate Team series. Just it'll be pretty much mainly surrounding FUT Champs. Currently in Division 2, I'm in Ultimate Team. I have a few coins to work with. I have a fairly strong team, and I'll be looking at qualifying for FUT Champs next weekend. This weekend I finished Gold 3, which was very impressive for me. It was my first time doing FUT Champs this weekend. I've recently got FIFA as well. I got it a month ago, so to qualify for FUT Champs so quickly, it was very, very surprising for me, I should say. And yeah, to finish Gold 3 in my first season of FUT Champs, playing FIFA at a very competitive level. It was a very good experience and helped me improve. I know that the computer plays a lot different than people. People try to read your passes while the computer just sit in the position, so it'll be interesting to see how I break them down. This is my one of the first career modes that I've done. I played around with a Real Madrid career mode, as I said earlier, to try to see how the players look, how the game feels in career mode, the graphics and all that. Now, I'm looking at the striker option. I'm going to see if I can pick up Marcus Rashford on loan for 2 years. In 2 years, if I use him often enough, he should replace Jamie Vardy eventually when Vardy starts petering out. I'm also going to look at a few other strikers in the Premier League, such as Damari Gray, Callum Wilson, and Danny Ings. But we'll see how it goes. I'm looking on getting one of those players on a permanent. I know from when I managed Real Madrid, if you inquire for Rashford, they normally come back to you with a £30 million, £40 million counteroffer. So getting him on a permanent wasn't really an option. So I was gonna look at getting a player on a permanent deal. I looked at Troy Deeney quickly, but I'm not really interested in him. He's kind of older and doesn't have that much pace about him. I already have Slimani, so Andre Gray, Callum Wilson, and Danny Ings are very similar mold to Jamie Vardy, so they will be able to be pretty much a direct replacement for him if and ever he gets injured, or when he starts going down in stats. I'm just gonna keep scrolling through these players. I've passed Rashford there, but yeah, I'm gonna be hopefully getting a nice young English core to the team. I'm inquiring about all these players, and I don't have much money to work with that's left. I hopefully I get the money from the trophy sooner or later, because they haven't. I don't think they've given it to me yet, unless I've missed out. I'm gonna accept all loan deals for all these players. All the youngsters, except for those that were 69, 70 overall or higher, I put them on the loan list, and I'm just trying to ship them off, open up some room for wages. Liverpool come in with an offer when I inquired of £14 million, so I'm not willing to pay that much for Danny Ings. He's been injured for 2 whole seasons since joining. He's very unfortunate tale. He played at Burnley. He played a very good season in the Premier League, which gave him a big money move to Liverpool. But ever since then, he's just had ligament problems. Hasn't been playing at all. Even worse situation than Daniel Sturridge, who has his fair share of injuries himself. As you can see, Callum Wilson and Andre Gray, they're not going to be expensive whatsoever. They're both going to cost me under £10 million, which is a price that I'm perfectly happy to pay. Now here, this is where I was interested. I was wondering, should I get Rashford for 2 seasons on loan, even if he sits on the bench a bit, and continue with the full-time purchase of Damari Gray and Callum Wilson, or do I just keep this Rashford and not accept the offers for Damari Gray or Wilson, or do I get both? In the end, I decided to get both. I think that Rashford, just in case for injury, really, I placed two strikers in this formation. I'm not too interested in using Shinji Okazaki, but I'll keep him just for now, just to see how he plays. I'll give him a fair try until the end of the window. I think there's 3 games that I will be playing. One in the Community Shield against Manchester United, and then the start of the league. So as you see, I'm more interested in Damari Gray. He's going to come out cheaper, and since I don't have much money left to use, and in fact this is costing me a lot of my wage budget and transfer budget, I'm going to be just going for the cheaper option, which is Damari Gray, and he's still a good player. He still has he's 75 rated in Ultimate Team, so I'd assume he's the same thing in this. And he's pretty much in the same mold as Callum Wilson. I'm not sure about his stats though. I think he has decent finishing, good pace, decent dribbling, decent passing, and I'm not sure about his physical. Hopefully he'll come out all right. And like I said, I'll give them all a try. They'll all get a fair chance. And one thing, if you guys can explain to me, the manager rating, it started off at 80. I did absolutely nothing except for sim those games, and it just keeps going down. Like, it went down to 79 now. I don't know why, but if anyone out there knows as to the specifics of why it's going down, then please let me know. Now, the training is something, like training the players is something that I am interested in doing. It's just from my times of FIFA 16 or FIFA 15 of playing career mode, I haven't really used it, or if it wasn't there in the case of FIFA 15. So I'm not used to it being there, so a lot of times I'll completely forget about it, and if I do, I'm sorry. But for the training, there's no way I'm going to be doing those skill games for all the players. I'm just going to sim all of them. If they get an A, hooray. If they get a F, oh well. So we got our first batch of scouting reports. From France, we only got one good player. So we're just going to reject the other one, sign him up. From Spain, we got a superstar in the making, 74 to 94, I do believe it was. And the rest of them, we're just going to reject all of them. They're not up to the standard. In terms of youth players, I'm normally looking for a mold of 70 to 94. If it's anything under that, sometimes it's okay, but within the first month of them being at the club, it should give you a fair idea of where the rating's going to turn out. And yeah, so as you can see, we accept the Mari Gray, so we did end up getting both of the players. I'm going to play around with the transfer budget for next episode and see how much money we have left to spend. I am interested in getting another right back, maybe Sam Byron from West Ham as well. But as we approach the game against Manchester United, we are also approaching the end of the episode, so thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll just finish off by accepting a few of these loans. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the next episode of the Leicester City career mode. Don't worry, I will not be saying Leicester. I will try my best with all the pronunciations. And yeah, so thank you very much for watching, you guys, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you.